the real tier list. Okay, this is what a real tier list looks like by somebody that's actually educated and knows what he's talking about. To be clear, when you start making a tier list, you need to like, all right, we're gonna put parameters on the tier list, right? We're gonna put parameters on the tier list. I'll put it in the top right. Try to keep them out of the way. Okay. One. What we're assuming a number of this is the large scale tier list. Okay, it's still, I haven't moved it over far enough. Hold on. This is a large scale tier list. We're gonna make the large scale one first. There we go. 2. We are assuming that these classes are being played at the highest possible level. Okay. How do I want to say this? How do I want to say this so that people understand? Okay. All right. And number 3, and this is probably the most important one, guys. We're talking about their overall ranked by overall contribution to the node war. Okay, these are the 3 most important things. When you make a tier list and you're actually making a good fucking tier list, you have parameters. This is what large scale PvP tier list, and we're assuming the class is being played at the highest level, and we're ranked by overall contribution to the node war as a whole. Yeah, this is the criteria. So kills, no. No. If we were strictly doing by kills, we would just be like, okay, we're done. You know what I mean? But like, kills are definitely a part of your contribution to the node war, right? But like, there's also like, it's not fair to do it based on kills, because then you're putting Shy in the D tier, which honestly isn't necessarily wrong. I'm just kidding. Like, obviously Shy is the exception to that rule. All right, so let's go with the most valuable class in large scale PvP, hands down, no questions, based off overall contribution, is the Awakening Valkyrie. No question. Awakening Valkyrie, when played at the highest possible level, brings top of the front page kills. Okay. I would say it's maybe not the highest. It's not going to outfrag Archer or Ranger, but because it's alties, or you've all seen the alties, right? You've all seen the alties, right? It brings all of this support capabilities. It's got protected area. It's got heals. It gives super armors to allies. It gives allies super buffs with special attack damage. It get like protected AoE healing. Like, it's everything. Everything. However, if you play Valkyrie poorly, or even middle of the road, this class moves down here. Okay? But when played at the highest possible level, this is where it goes. Okay? This is where it goes. I would say overall, next, I'm gonna let the archers have this one. Although Archer doesn't have a crazy amount of support capabilities, it gets so many fucking kills and it does so much work as a class. In like, yeah, Torty's in the chat. Torty knows he's probably one of the best archers that has ever played the game. This class's contribution to the node war as a whole. I mean, this guy can kill people because it gets so many kills. He can stop engagements before they happen. He can kill divers instantly with like one fucking skill, right before they even have a chance to do anything. And because of that, it's honestly, it's just good at preventing problems, and it's good at getting a lot of kills. It softens people up. It does a tremendous amount of damage. It's an incredible class. It's an incredibly good class in large scale PvP. I'm gonna put Suck Wizard next. As I think Suck Wizard, obviously it brings a lot of kills. It's got position, it's got all of the support capabilities we all know. It's got protected area, it's got heals galore. It's got speed spell, which is tremendously helpful to everybody around him, and it still gets a lot of kills. So Suck Wizard, I think it's also really easy to play overall. Like, It's got a high skill ceiling. It's got a really high skill ceiling, but like when played at the highest level, you see Suck Wizards do fucking crazy shit. Which better? I would say in large scale PvP, the cooldown reduction on Wizard, it's better to be getting, for example, so the difference between Suck Wizard and Suck Witch is very small. Suck Witch has the MMA passive, which allows it to Gatling gun out skills really quickly, right? So it's got really consistent damage. But Suck Wizard has better ranged burst damage, which I will argue is stronger because you can have it. He can have his big banger skills up more frequently than the Witch can, which just edges it out, I think. Overall in large scale PvP. Then I'm going to put Suck Witch up here right next to it. Harder to play, definitely has consistent damage. But basically for all the same reasons Suck Wizard is in this. And then you, no, whoa, I'll put the gun down. Holy shit. Whew. Where is Succession Ranger at? Where is my boy? Is Succession Ranger not down here? Oh, there it is. Let's get it up here. Clipped. Yeah, very funny. All right. I think Suck Ranger and Archer are very comparable, but I think the Archer is stronger in large scale right now just because it has more range and just the burst damage on the skills. Ranger is also an incredible class for the same reason Archer is. I think Archer just does a better job, and Suck Ranger is a little outshined by the Succession staffs. Okay. Now we're talking about overall contribution to the Node War, so I would be remiss if I didn't add at least 1 or 2 flanking assassins to the S tier. The only 2 flanking assassins in this game that like realistically belong in the S tier is Succession Lon. And where is Awakening Draconia? Goes right here. Awakening Nova, I would say I would say it's these 2. Maybe you could argue Awakening Nova. Let me think about it for a minute. But Suck Lon, because it can engage from the Z-axis and catch people unaware much more consistently, it is really powerful in large-scale PvP. I mean, just look over at CTG, right? CTG is top fragging on Suck Lon in basically every guild that he mercs into. Right? This is the highest possible level for a class in the game. Right, and we're talking. If we're talking about CTG, I think that we can all agree CTG's contribution to a Node War outweighs most other classes in the game. Is that fair? Mainly because Suck Lon is just capable of doing that. Awakening Zerker, where we'll get there. Awakening Draconia has it's really hard to play. I would say it's harder than Suck Lon for sure. But again, its engagements with Dragonflight are just incredible. Absolutely incredible. The amount of shit that you can catch people with coming from off the screen, just flying in and just turboing them with a large amount of burst damage is really good. Awakening Nova. So Awakening Nova is a great class. Honestly, I'll put it at the edge of the S tier here. I will put this at the I'm gonna put it at the I'm gonna put it here. Mainly because Awakening Nova is an amazing class. It can flank and everything, but it just can't consistently hit at the times that it needs to because you have to charge up the Excel mode. It does struggle sometimes. You miss opportunities, right? You're never going to miss an opportunity on a Draconia or a Lon because you're waiting on your fucking Excel mode. It doesn't happen, right? Those classes can engage no matter what, whenever they want, right? Awakening Nova, you have to do your chores first. So, like, I would put it in the A tier here. I think that Shy belongs in this tier. I'm going to have to rearrange the A tier as we go. But Shy definitely belongs in this A tier. Shy is an A tier class, maybe S. You could argue S, but I would say that's an A tier class. No, I don't think it's S because I think that putting it in S would argue that its support capabilities with its damage, its overall contribution to the Node War, it doesn't contribute any kills, right? Which isn't very important, but it is important somewhat, right? Like you do need to be able to get some kills. I would say it sits at the top of the A tier unless you have more than about 5 Shies. You want 1 Shy per 20 people. If you have more Shies than like 1 per 20 people, you're probably griefing. Right? Like if you can't put it in the S tier because then like let's go into battle with 100 Shies. Okay, well then that's just not playable, right? Let's go into battle with 100 Valkyries. Okay, this is doable. Let's go into battle with 100 Archers. Doable. 100 Suck Wizards. You can say the same thing for the rest of it. Right? Large scale PvP without shy. I mean, again, it's good to have 5 shies. 5 shies. Thunderdome can fuck over any push, and you want highest skill. All right. All right. I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. Plus, and honestly, it's not for the Thunderdome. It's actually because of that new Magnus skill is juiced. I'll sit it at the very edge of the S tier. I think that's fair. Like, I was already on the fence with it. I think that's fair. At very, very edge of the S tier, that's fine. That is acceptable. But if you have more than 5 shies, it's down here. If I'm being honest, if you have too many shies, it's down here. Okay. What else? All right, so A tier. These are the above average classes, like the good classes in large scale. Awakening Musa definitely belongs here, right? Let's see. Succession Sage. Oh, yeah, definitely. For sure. Suck Megu probably belongs in this tier. I'm going to rearrange these in a second, guys. Give me a moment. Awakening Berserker belongs in here. I would say... Where is Succession Berserker? Where is Succession? Because he probably belongs here. Okay, so, let's do orders here. I think I'm gonna put Suck Zerker here at the top of the A tier because it can do a lot of frontline work. It's got its ultimate, right? And then it can get a decent amount of kills. It can peel. It has a lot of grabs and stuff. And the mobility, it can keep up with the offense ball without even having a horse, right? Like the amount of mobility that class has, even if your horse is down, is absolutely fucking crazy, right? Awakening Nova is very similar, but can't keep up with Suck Zerker over long distances. Zerker is the horse. That's right. I think Suck Sage definitely outweighs Awakening Musa. I think Suck Megu... Right here. Suck Megu's gotten some nerfs. And I think that, honestly, there we go. I think that's fair. Awakening Berserker brings range to large-scale PvP. And when played at the highest possible level, it might even oh, man. It might even go here. Because it can just, I don't know. Suck Sage just deletes people. And at the highest possible level, you're looking at Divios, right? Is Divios outperforming? And not just kills. Are they having a bigger impact setting up? I think the Awakening Zerker can set up plays. I don't know. I feel like the Awakening Berserker can set up more plays than Suck Sage. While both of them can get a lot of kills, I think Awakening Berserker can CC a lot of people from range and in between engagements, does a lot of work helping the offense ball. It also has stronger mobility than Suck Sage, so I'm actually going to put it above Suck Sage. I think that's fair. Yeah. Awakening Musa versus Suck Sage. This is strictly which one is doing more damage. It's Succession Sage because that's all you're really offering. I will say that Awakening Musa contributes blowing up traps, right? It can sweep a trap field in large scale PvP, which is important. But I don't feel like it I think that Suck Sage just outfrags it in most cases, and like just getting a shitload of kills like that probably outweighs Moose's overall contribution. Yeah. But Awakening Musa is a great flanker. Can choose its engagements, good AoE, good damage, lots of KDs, like well protected, really solid class. Suck Megu used to be in the S tier. I would say it's toward the bottom of the A tier now, middle to the bottom of the A tier. It's still an above average large scale class because its mobility is really strong. The skills are literally fluid. It has a lot of AoE, right? Its clone is basically useless now for large scale PvP, which again has hurt it, and also the split damage that they gave it has also hurt it as well. But I think it still does an excellent job of like picking up kills and overall contributing to like pre-engage, which is really what you're looking at when you're looking at assassins in large scale PvP. Suck Sage and Awakening Zerker is 2 super high damage classes. I think Zerk personally has a higher, better setup, but it can hit a lot of targets at once. Sage is similar, but can still outperform the Zerk that essentially is skill caps on players. But at the highest possible skill level, I think that Awakening Zerker is having a higher impact on the node war. Okay. What else belongs in this tier? Oh. right there. I think Succession Draconia as a frontline class, it's probably, I mean, you can't just say, oh, kills and stuff. This is literally one of the best, this is probably the best frontliner in the game. If you're talking purely about a tank that can stay in the middle of everything and absorb a tremendous amount of damage, Suckdrak can absorb more than any other class in the game, and so its contribution level is really high. It can also get a lot of kills, right? Because it's in the middle of the fray. It does a lot of damage, right? So, like, I don't think it's necessarily higher than Awakening Zerker or Nova or Suck Zerker at all. But I do think that Draconia definitely belongs in the A tier here. Awakening Nova might be a little high, just based on its kills. Maybe we move it like here. No. Awakening Nova is fine. Mainly because people forget about the vacuum on this class, and it's got Nova Wall. So Awakening Nova has Nova Wall and the best vacuum in the game, and they can cast it twice. Which makes its ability to set up plays is astronomically better than any other flanker usually in the game. So it's pre-engage. It's just that good. Like I think that Awakening Nova is definitely one of the best classes in the game for large scale. At least it's in the top of the A tier. It might be here. You might be able to trade these two. Sure, these are interchangeable. To be honest, I'm gonna leave it there for now. I think Suck Zerker is more useful than Awakening. Awakening is more useful than Suck. Okay, so yeah, we're back on track here. Explain Awakening Nova double vacuum. They throw it out, and it vacuums people. I don't know how to better explain it. All right. Here's a controversial fucking idea. I'm gonna put this right there. I'm gonna put this right there. And then I think Awakening Witch might be I think Awakening Witch might be in the next tier down. But this is a slept on class. Yeah, USMC Snoopy, thanks for that follow, buddy. Bambi 56, Dr. Danky, and Tobinari U, thanks for those follows, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm debating whether I want to put it. I think you could honestly do this. I know that Suck Sage gets a lot of kills, but that's all it brings to the table. Awakening Wizard brings so much more to the table. Maybe not more than a Draconia, but like, it's just so good. Awakening Witch, definitely further down the tier list. It might be B. I'll put it in front of Megu for now. Awakening Witch, when played at the highest possible level, is still not getting a crazy amount of kills compared to most of the other classes in the game. However, it brings all of the support capabilities. Did the podcast already happen? That's Tuesday, you ding dong. Yeah, I think that it's probably doing more than Suck Megu is. If I'm being honest. Like a really good Awakening Witch, I'd rather have a really good Awakening Witch than a really good Suck Megu. Because they're just going to contribute more. I don't think I would rather have... Like, I think the really good Awakening Musa is going to top frag. Or come close to it. Maybe you do this. You could technically do this. But, like, I think that the fact that the Moose can pop traps puts it here. What about Wusa? I would say if it Wusa... we're going to get to Wusa. Let me make sure that I don't need any more classes in this tier. I think we're good. All right. So, Now we're gonna move on to the B tier. These are more of the average classes. Like these are good playable classes, but they're not considered above average by any means. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the first one in here as Suck Corsair. I would say that Suck Corsair is good. Maybe you could. I would put Suck Corsair in the A tier, if not for the grab passive being completely useless.
Hey girl. Hey girl.
What up, Siggy? How you doing? So I think Suck Corsair does an amazing job of being a frontline disruptor class, and because it's so good with evasion, it's just incredibly powerful. The problem, and in large scale PvP, nobody really grabs in large scale PvP, but it does happen. So like, it's still a super playable class in large scale like this. Awakening Sork does belong in this tier, but I'm gonna put Wusa in front of it. For sure. I think Suck Wusa is definitely a really powerful large-scale class, but I think it falls short of like an Awakening Nova or an Awakening Musa. Wusa has to stand still to do a tremendous amount of damage. But it has thunderstorms, which are excellent pre-engage tools and stuff. But that also means that it has to set up most of its damage and stuff, which is not as powerful in large scale. But you could argue that, like, okay, well, the thunderstorms can set up plays. It's like, okay, well, that's fine. That's why it belongs. It's average. It's good. It's a good class, but it's not crazy good. I think Suck Guardian probably belongs in this tier. I'm not sure. Again, guys, I'm probably going to rearrange the order here like I did in the last tier. I'm just trying to get everybody into the B tier that belongs in the B tier. I think that... No. Do I look like Saturn? Sure. I would say... I think Woke Striker might be able to go right here. I'll be honest. I think Woke Striker might be able to go there. Give me a second. Let me cook. Does Awakening Guardian belong in this tier? I would say yes. I'm gonna go with yes. And for reasons I will explain in a moment. Let me see. I don't think that Suck DK belongs here. I don't think that Awakening Megu, sure, of like, fuck it. It's like, whatever. It's like a reasonably good class, but it also has to get really close to do its damage. So honestly, actually, no, I'm going to pull it down. And I'll get into why in a moment. But I think that Awakening Lawn probably goes in this tier. It's like an okay class. Succession is just like 2 tiers above it. But like Awakening Lawn is still a great class. It's just not as good as Succession is. And I think Ninja probably needs to go here for sure. I think Suck Ninja goes here. I think that Awakening Kuno probably goes here as well. And I'm gonna stop there for now. And I'm gonna stop. Well, definitely this class definitely belongs up here. This somewhere up here. Yeah. I'm gonna set the Suck Mewa up there. Suck Musa can sit in its place. Okay, this is fine. This is what your B tier looks like. Now Suck Corsair I'm gonna put at the very front because it's a really solid frontline tank. It does a great job at disruptions. It's fallback in large scales that it can get grabbed. Suck Wusa does contribute a fair amount to large scale PvP. You have Chrysanth, so you have a support skill that helps speed up all your allies. And you have the Thunderstorms, which can help set up major plays. Its drawback is that it has to get in close to do a tremendous amount of damage. It's also got that, like, I can expel a lot of damage in one skill. Like, I can build up damage and then reflect it back on you. That's really powerful as well in large scale. If used properly. Suck Guardian is again another good frontliner. What contribution does Suck Ninja bring? I'll get there. This is a great frontliner. It can be played as a flanker. It has a lot of damage. Its 100% is really solid, and it slows everything it touches. So I don't think that you can say that Suck Guardian doesn't belong in this tier. I also think that Awakening Guardian belongs in this tier as well. For the same reason. Suck Guardian is stronger because it has more damage. Awakening Guardian has more AoE and better sustain overall. Than Succession Guardian does. So like less overall damage though. It's definitely slower moving as well. But still contributes a tremendous amount because Guardian's passive is that it slows everything that it touches, which in large scale PvP is really fucking good when you have a lot of AoE, right? Suck Mewa really only brings the fact that it can clear trap fields and the fact that it has some of the highest single target burst damage in the entire fucking game. It's got really good accuracy modifiers and stuff like that, but its major drawback is that it doesn't have a lot of AoE. And it's really squishy, right? So you have to get in really close to drop damage, and you just get, in large scale, you just vaporize. It's really tough. Awakening DK, I think, actually probably outperforms it just a little bit because it can stand at range and do all the same things, and it has more iframes overall, which makes it really powerful in large scale PvP. Awakening Striker, definitely below Suck Mewa, but still middle of the road. Has a great like 9-second iframe ultimate, or some are like 5 seconds at least iframe ultimate that, or maybe it's only 3 seconds, whatever. It's a really long iframing ultimate. It's got grabs. It's got really solid AoE. The clones do good damage, and in capped PvP, it's really solid. It's a good class. I think Awakening Lawn probably belongs a little further up this list. I'm going to put it right between the two Guardians. I'm going to put it right between the two Guardians, mainly because it can still engage from above. It can peel with a grab. It's really good at skirmishing, so getting people off cannons and stuff and doing small-scale skirmish stuff and killing backdooring flags and stuff. Really powerful, so its contribution to the node war can be higher than Guardians for sure. It can also scout really well. Suck Ninja. Okay, so to answer your question, is this a PVX ranking? No. Again, this is a large-scale PvP tier list. Suck Ninja can go into stealth and provides a lot of utility just because it can go into stealth. It can literally scout endlessly. It can set up plays really well. It can always catch people unawares and can approach without people being able to see it in large-scale PvP, which makes it really powerful. I think it's really solid. I think that it probably goes here. Maybe here. I think, yeah, it probably doesn't outperform Awakening Guardian. Maybe it does. All right, yeah, sure. Sure. But I don't think it's outputting Awakening Lawn Pressure. Mainly because, again, it can set up tremendous amounts of plays. It can scout. It can backdoor stuff. Like, it's got really solid burst damage because you're playing like this rogue play style. It's got really high upfront burst damage, but it's really unprotected is its major drawback. Is this class is just not very protected overall. It's got a lot of gaps, so you have to engage, kill shit, and then get out, which is pretty easy in large scale when people aren't paying attention, right? Awakening Kuno, he's probably at the very bottom. I think he's very bottom of the B tier. It's okay. It's a solid class. Again, it's got the same stealth mechanics as the ninja does. It doesn't have very many. I would say that if you're comparing it to Suck Ninja, it doesn't quite have as much burst damage, but it can definitely do a much longer engaged, like a much longer skirmish, and in my opinion, has stronger movement for large scale PvP. I think that's fair to say. So it's got slightly less burst damage, but it does have the stealth mechanic, so it still belongs in this B tier. Same thing can be applied to Awakening. So I think that Awakening Ninja and Suck Kuno, I think Awakening Ninja has, you could technically put it in the B tier. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna put it just below Suck Kuno because it's a really good extended skirmisher for sure. But I don't think it's as good as Suck Ninja because I don't think the burst damage just does not feel as strong on an Awakening Ninja. It's designed for a longer skirmish. It doesn't abuse stealth as well as the Suck Ninja does, I don't think. Suck Kuno is honestly Suck Kuno's biggest problem is that it struggles with stamina issues. So like you engage, and then if you engage for too long, like in large scale PvP, you end up running out of shit. Right? You end up running out of movement because you just don't have enough stamina. They fixed these a little bit recently. It's gotten a little bit better. But I think Awakening Kuno does its job just a little bit better. Suck Kuno has much more burst damage on less skills, though. So it has more burst damage. Awakening Kuno can skirmish for longer and has stronger movement just because the movement doesn't require stamina. Suck Kuno's movement is still protected, but can't do it as long. Right? Okay, that's that tier. I'm confident in that tier. Now we're talking about the classes that struggle in large-scale PvP, but are still like solidly playable, right? They struggle. They have more shortcomings than the tier above it. And I think, let me just start. I'm just going to throw this guy up here. Wait, Awakening Sork belongs up here. I forgot about Awakening Sork. Really only good. Honestly, I'd almost rather have an Awakening Ninja than an Awakening Sork. Mainly because Sork just... no, because it can stand in the middle of the enemy ball. So, hold on. It can just sit in the middle of everyone. If people are playing around this class, it's useless, but... it can create a lot of engagements. And get some pretty big feeds. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put right here. And then Suck Sork, I'm going to put... Alright, so the biggest difference between Suck and Awakening is that Suck requires more frontal guards when it comes out of its iframes, and Awakening is definitely more super armor heavy. When it comes out of iframe. And so if you're iframing into super armor, you're trading damage. If you're iframing into frontal guard, you're blocking damage. However, you can still be hit from behind. And because Sorceress's primary goal in large-scale PvP is to just jump in the round in the middle of everybody and just create a bunch of plays, Suck Sork does this job a little bit worse than Awakening does. Not a crazy amount worse, but definitely a little worse. I'm going to put it here because I feel like Ninja is more valuable than the Sork. I don't think I've seen a single Suck Sork. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it isn't crazy good, right? It's just not a class that's played crazy frequently. It doesn't mean it's not good, though. Suck Valkyrie belongs in this tier. It might be the queen of the C tier. Give me a second. Suck DK probably belongs in this tier. Musa belongs in this tier. Tamer probably belongs here. Both of them. Awakening above Succession. Maewa belongs in this tier. Awakening Wusa belongs in this tier. Oh, we haven't even put... Awakening Warrior probably belongs in this tier, somewhere in here. I think Awakening Mystic belongs here, probably. Yeah. And then Awakening Megu also belongs in this tier as well. Okay, so... Suck Valkyrie struggles tremendously with movement, but can peel and throws out really solid damage overall, and it has all the support capabilities of Awakening for the most part. It just doesn't have the mobility or the really good ultimate. And honestly, it does lack a few of the support capabilities of Awakening. So yeah, okay, so it's missing a few of the support capabilities in Awakening. Doesn't quite have the AoE. I don't think that maybe it does. It's just that it's really slow. Its movement is just really slow. So it's miserable to play in large scale PvP. Awakening Warrior is definitely a lot faster. Its problem is that it relies very heavily on frontal guards, and it cannot tank anything. Anyone that's dove into large scale PvP on a warrior knows that, if you try to dive in as a frontliner, I'm a warrior, I'm tanky, you're dead. Yeah, you're super dead. So it can't really do its job the way that it wants to. So it has to play as more of a melee assassin. Right? And I think that if you're putting it in the realm of the melee assassins, other melee assassins do it better, right? Like Sork, Lon, Awakening Draconian, Nova, all those other classes do the assassin role better. And honestly, I think that Awakening Megu sits probably here. I would say that Suck... All right, so Succession, Dark Knight. Why is Suck DK not up there? It has a lot of damage. Suck DK is paper. And it has to get really close to do its damage. So the Awakening can just stand at the mid-range and fire skills and then jump close when she needs to finish the job. Suck DK has to do all of that damage in short range, and you have to be really close. I've only seen a few Suck DKs that can really pull that off. But, it struggles. It really struggles when compared to the other assassins played at really high levels, too. What's up, Castle? How you doing? How you doing, Taiku? Welcome back. It's Danoy and Get Noise and Homem Poodle. Hi. Thanks for those follows, guys. Suck Musa is super high AP. Honestly, it probably belongs way the fuck down here. It's a blader, so its contribution to Node War, I'll be honest, Awakening Musa brings AoE, damage, better engage tools, mainly because it's got more AoE and relies on super armors. It belongs way the fuck up in the A tier. The Suck Musa requires so much more APM to really just clap down some damage, and also has way less overall AoE, and so it just doesn't do a great job in large scale. Boy, does that class struggle. Awakening Mystic's big shortcoming, as everyone is aware of, is damage. It's got a lot of utility, though, so I think we're gonna move it up. It's got a lot of utility. It just doesn't do any damage. It really struggles with the damage in large scale PvP. It's pretty well protected overall. It's just, and again, it has a lot of slows. It's got vacuums. It's got all kinds of utility on its kit, but it can set up plays really well. It just really doesn't have enough damage to really make it high on the tier list. I think that Suck DK probably outperforms it a little bit just because Death is the best CC. But trying to stand there on a Suck DK and get Lunacy off just kills you in most cases. So I don't know. I think that probably goes there. Tamer probably goes toward the top of this list. I'll probably put Tamer at the very top of the C tier here. Both iterations of Tamer belong up here. Suck Tamer. I don't know. Tamer memes are back and forth about this, and I've played both versions of the class. I do think that Awakening just outplays it just a little bit because the skill ceiling is a little higher. I think it has a little bit more mobility than Suck Tamer does, even though it's tougher to play. I would say that Tamer overall has a tremendous amount of iframes. It has no AoE, which is why it's so low on this tier list. It has a crazy amount of iframes, really good in 1v1 PvP. So really, Tamer in large-scale PvP, anyone that says Tamer's really good at large-scale PvP is really just saying, well, she's really good at 1v1. So all you're really doing is just killing people on cannons. You're isolating people and killing them 1v1 targets really quickly. Right? You're just killing 1v1 targets really quickly. And that doesn't mean it's good at large scale. It just means it's good at 1v1s. Right? Which is fair. It's very good. It's got a lot of iframes and stuff. But like its overall impact on the node war is relatively low. Unless it's on the cannon team. In which case, yeah, like as people are saying, yeah, Tamer on the cannon team. Yeah, like it can 1v1 people off the cannon really well. But again, that's just 1v1 stuff, right? Anybody can shoot a cannon though. But like its 1v1 is really solid. But that's why it's at the top of this list. Suck Valkyrie, we described. Awakening Megu. Nobody really talks about this class. This is a pretty below average flanking class for the current metagame. It does a great job of getting behind its opponents. The problem with it is that you get in close. You have to get in close to do your damage, for starters. Unlike Succession Megu, right? It's a lot like Dark Knight in this way, except it's flipped. Awakening DK has range and Suck DK doesn't, versus Suck Megu does have range and Awakening doesn't. So for this reason, I would say it's probably around the DK. I would say it's a little bit better than DK just because it released later, and so it has less overall problems with its damage. 2023 class. But they fit basically the same role and do about the same job at that role. While Suck DK is going to give a little bit more damage, Awakening Mega will be a little bit better about getting on top of people. Suck DK really only has Nocturne to really bamboozle people with. Awakening Sage has really good AoE. It struggles with stamina, but it has really good AoE, and it's got buffs recently. It might be moved further up this tier list, depending on when you're watching it, but it's actually a pretty solid large-scale class. It's really not all that bad. It's got a grab on it. It's a good skirmisher. Excellent flanker. Overall, its damage compared to the other assassins is probably why it's down here. I have it down here in the C tier. Like, it's okay damage, but you're not going to be blowing people up like if you're a Sucklon. Right? You're not going to blow people up like it's an Awakening Nova or anything like that. I'd say it goes right here. Awakening Meiwa probably goes a little further up this list. Where do I want to put her? So Awakening Meiwa's problem is that it relies very heavily on frontal guards, and it has very low AoE. I'm going to put it right here. It can still pop traps and can be played at a very high level very, very well. I remember Akashi top fragging and Dismantle God knows how many times. I've seen there's a guy in Stray that top frags on it as well. I'm blanking on his name right now. He's really good at it, but he's not playing it anymore. He plays like Musa because it's just stronger. But like because Awakening Meiwa relies so heavily on its frontal guards, and in large scale PvP, frontal guards are shaky protection at best, and it's got really low AoE. But it can pop traps and stuff, which is and it's got better mobility than Sage, so I'm gonna put it right there. Awakening Wusa belongs higher up this tier list. I think Awakening Wusa probably goes right there. Awakening Wusa is a mid-range caster, like support caster. Okay, so it has a decent amount of damage and can back attack people from the front. Those are the pros. It also has support capabilities on it. Quick rundown on why Lon is S tier. If you watch my Fun Day Monday on Lons, you will understand. But it can attack from above, and large-scale PvP for assassins is all about catching people where you do, like catching people who can't see you coming. Lon can do that better than every other assassin in the game. So for that reason, it sits in the S tier. People just aren't paying attention. There's so much going on in large scale. People just are not paying attention to the lawn that's above them. You just don't see it. Awakening Wusa has a lot of support capabilities, which I think puts it right around where Suck Valkyrie. Suck Valkyrie has more support capabilities, but Awakening Wusa has better mobility and stuff. Awakening Wusa does still have to get in close and just doesn't really have the damage output. Yeah, I think it does. If it gets a few more buffs, Awakening Wusa moves way up on this tier list, probably to the A tier. If it gets some damage buffs, it probably moves up to the A tier because it's got HP regen, which in capped is crazy for all of her allies around her. She can still use Chris Hanth, which is really fucking good, and she brings a decent amount of damage. But I'd like to see more of that, right? I'd like to see more of it. But I think that's where Wusa really plays. Why is Zerker in the A tier? Well, we already explained that. If you don't know why Zerker is in the A tier, then you should probably watch Choice. That will show you what Succession Zerker is up here. Awakening Zerker also has a tremendous amount of potential, but has less overall impact because it's BSR, it's Black Spirit Rage, its ultimate ability is just not quite as strong as the Suck Zerkers is probably the most impactful in the game. Also make a PvE tier list for all the new players coming to the game. I'm having a whole clan of refugee coming over from the corner of the MMO. I can try, but like there's going to be some disclaimers for that. I hate PvE tier lists, but I'll explain why. All right, now let's look at the D tier. These are the classes that in large scale PvP, you have to be a god at this class. Now, keep in mind, we did say that we're assuming that all these classes are played at the highest level. These classes struggle even when they're to keep up with other classes, even when played at the highest possible level. These are classes that struggle, right? This is Awakening Hash, Suck Hash. These two, you could argue that Suck Hash is stronger, but Awakening Hash has more AoE. I'll get into it in a second. Suck Mystic, Awakening Corsair, Suck Warrior. I would say that Awakening Ranger goes here. I would say that Succession Nova goes here. And the worst class in the game for large-scale PvP is probably Succession Striker. All right, so Hishashin. It's a solid. It's gotten accuracy buffs recently, which has helped its damage, which has helped tremendously, but it still has to get in close to do its damage. I will say that Hash has a teleport skill where you can just teleport back to the tornado, so you can dive in, get some damage down, and then dive back. That's really good, but that's about where it stops. Like I would say that Hash's best utility in large scale PvP is the fact that everyone turns each other's effects off, which means that when it goes into its tornado, you just can't fucking see the Hash anymore. Like that, which is like really good for Hash, but also he can only do it for a few seconds at a time. The class feels really squishy. It's really hard to play. At a high level, though, you could make it work, and it's gonna look around the level of a Mewa or an Awakening Megu. It just doesn't do the assassin job. It doesn't catch people in large scale. It doesn't catch people as effectively as Elan, right? It can't dive into the middle of everyone. It's really good, like Tamer. It's really good at 1v1s. It's really good at small-scale skirmishes. So when people say that, Hash is really good in large-scale, no, it's really good at small-scale and 1v1s. So really all a Hash is doing is it's just isolating its targets, and it's killing them one at a time, or two at a time, maybe three at a time. But like very rarely do you see Hashes successfully dive into many opponents and actually get their full DPS rotation off, get the catch off, like, and just blow everybody up. It's very difficult to do. Possible, but difficult. Suck Mystic just doesn't have the AoE. Like it's got great single target damage, doesn't have the AoE. It's also got really solid protections, but it has to, like Awakening Warrior, it has to play it like an assassin. It's built to be a frontline tank. It's not a frontline tank in large scale PvP. It cannot survive diving in like everybody else can. It has to play like an assassin, and the other assassins do its job better. Just flat out. Awakening Corsair probably belongs toward the top of this list. I would queen of the fucking dog shit classes in PvP are in large scale PvP. Because it does have its Awakening Corsair's Mist when it class buffs gives HP regeneration to its allies. It also has different cannons and stuff which do like true damage to structures in large scale PvP. I've played Awakening Corsair, so I know. It's just a relatively slow moving class. It's like a mid-range assassin, and like it just doesn't like, it's like a mid-range assassin, kind of like Awakening Dark Knight, but it's way slower and clunkier. So it's like just really hard to play that class really correctly. There are people that do. There are some gods that can make it work in large scale PvP, but even when the gods play it, it's still not going to outperform anyone else that's playing. Like, you know, it's not like they're going to outfrag CTG. It's not like they're going to outfrag Armin on the Ninja, right? Like it's a great class. It's not that effective. Suck Warrior, honestly. So the thing about Warrior that we didn't talk about is that it does have some DP buffs and some allies buffs. It has some support capabilities. It's really solid. The problem with Suck Warrior is a one-size-fits-all class. Okay, Awakening Warrior is the Swiss Army knife of Warrior. You have one skill for every single situation, and the trouble is, okay, I got to figure out what skill to use for this situation. And players that are really good at that succeed on Awakening Warrior. Suck Warrior condenses all of that, so you only have 3 or 4 skills that really kind of just do everything. And so like when your skills are on cooldown, it sucks. You don't have a crazy good AoE, you're not very tanky, and the only real engage tool that you have that is consistent is your grab on Suck Warrior. It does have 1 or 2 more catches that aren't crazy viable in large scale, but grabs in large scale PvP are kind of fucking dog shit. So Succession Warrior ends up just being basically, it's good at peeling. It sits on the back line and it tries to grab ninjas and stuff, which intermittently goes well. Like 50-50, you're able to get those grabs off. It does have some buffs though. I mean, it does have some support buffs though, which make it kind of a solid class. Awakening Ranger is an iframe style class. It's very much so a duelist. It definitely has range potential, and is a really solid duelist, but it can't jump in and catch people like a Hash can. I would say that it's probably here. Maybe it's here. It beats Suck Mystic because it has more iframes and can essentially tank more damage that's thrown its way. And its grab is probably a little bit stronger than Mystic's is. Its AoE is not very good. It doesn't have crazy strong range skills like the Succession Ranger counterpart, but it does have those skills. They're not as strong in the Awakening kit. So like, it's really only used to skirmish. And again, skirmish classes that are really only good at like 1v1s and skirmishes and can't really set up engagements very well are just not good in large scale PvP. That's just the bottom line. Again, Suck Mystic can't really set up plays in large scale. Suck Warrior can't. Suck Nova is a horrendously designed class, very tragically, because like the theming makes the class really cool. The idea of having a tower shield and being really tanky, like, oh my god, you can't get past my block, that whole idea is really cool. And having all these pets that come crashing in and stuff. The problem is that in large scale PvP in Black Desert Online, there is no such thing as a tank, right? The tanks in large scale PvP, the tanks are really bruisers. And bruisers, except the only reason that you succeed as a tank in BDO is because you have a massive amount of regeneration, lots of iframes, or you have a protected area ability that makes you impossibly tanky for a short duration. None of these things Succession Nova has. Also, DP set. So you're like, okay, well, what if I just put a full DP set on my Succession Nova? Well, it's a DR class. So like, and the full DP set is an evasion DP set. In Black Desert, the only real option you have to get really tanky like that, and to like basically be an impossible frontline tank, is to go for this evasion DP meme set. Suck Nova is a DR class and really just does not do well with evasion. I mean, like, it's okay, but like it's just dog shit, right? The only utility that Suck Nova really brings to the table ultimately is its incredible block and the wall, right? The wall is really powerful, no question. It's one of the strongest tools for large scale PvP when used correctly. It's also one of the worst skills in the game if used incorrectly. The problem with Suck Nova's block is that you don't have it. These classes up here, these right here, they're breaking your block in like 2 skills in large scale PvP. It's gone. Your block does not exist. So Suck Nova can't just sit like it wants to behind its block and just keep itself protected and try to be that presence. Its frontal guard dissipates. It has absolutely no regenerative capabilities. And in fact, until recently, it actually required you to consume health to cast most of your high DPS skills. That was more or less removed recently, but it still doesn't have the regeneration it needs to be a practical frontline tank. Classes that it should compete with Awakening Guardian, but it doesn't. Awakening Guardian has sustain. It's a DR class just like Nova and does a decent job at being a bruiser tank, but like that's because it just keeps getting all of its health back. And also Guardian is better because its passive is much stronger. Everything that the Guardian touches gets slowed by 50% across the board. That's very impactful. Nova just doesn't have that. Suck Nova just doesn't have that. And then finally, Succession Striker is just so horrendously bad. At large scale PvP, it relies almost entirely on frontal guards. It's got a fucking pencil narrow AoE. Right? It plays like an assassin. So it's really good in 1v1s. But the problem is, in large scale, even when you isolate people for 1v1s, you're getting hit in the back a lot by just stray burst damage or just like, I don't know, an archer threw a fucking skill. He can't even see you. Fuck it. And then you end up getting CC'd. You know what I mean? It's just a miserably bad class in large scale PvP. This is what a fucking large scale PvP tier list looks like. By someone that really knows, like I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to large scale PvP. All right? Like, I've been doing it for like 5 or 6 years now, and I've been streaming all of it, okay? You might not completely agree with it, but we talked through all of it. This is what it's at least accurate, right? As of August 6, 2023. Okay. Will we get a recording soon? It'll be up tomorrow, probably. I'll probably release it tomorrow. Remember, this is the large-scale PvP class tier list, so we're not talking about small-scale or 1v1s. We're assuming that the class is being played at the highest possible level, and we're ranking them with their contribution to Node War. Right? Right? You might not agree with it, but you can agree that it's at least accurate. Honestly, the bar is set impossibly low because the last tier list that we just fucking looked at is, wow, staggeringly stupid. Right? This is where it's at.